again, my name is Maggie Trevino. I'm with Services. We are your health insurance broker for Xoriant, and I will be going over the open enrollment options for the employee benefits effective January 1st, 2017. I will be going over what is open enrollment, plan year and eligibility, your Anthem medical options, the Kaiser medical options for California only, as well as the plan changes, your dental options with Anthem, the VSP Vision, your Anthem Life and AD&D, Anthem short and long-term disability, the Assurant voluntary options, and the flexible spending benefits for the new administrator, as well as the contact for services. So what is open enrollment? Open enrollment is the ability to make changes to your carriers. So for example, if you were somebody who was on Anthem and you're considering Kaiser or vice versa, now is the time to be able to make those types of changes. So you also have the ability to add or delete coverages for you or your dependents. You can also update the life insurance beneficiary. If there are no changes that need to be made, basically whatever you elect, you are locked in for the rest of the year. You do not have the ability to make changes unless you have what's called a qualifying event. So a qualifying event means that you got married, divorced, had a child, adopted a child, your dependent reaches the age of 26, you or your dependents lose coverage elsewhere. So again, whatever you decide to elect as far as your coverages, you will not be able to change. So if you elect Kaiser, you can't move to Anthem throughout the year unless you moved out of the service area. Those are the only times you can make changes. So if you have a qualifying event, meaning like your spouse lost coverage through their employer, then you just need to make sure that you notify HR within 30 days. If you don't, the carriers are very strict. You will have to wait until open enrollment next year. So again, the plan year is effective January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017. The open enrollment period is from December 1st through December 15th, and you will receive an open enrollment email with instructions on how to log in and elect your coverage for the January 1st, 2017 plan year. All employees must elect coverage in PlanSource or they will be dropped from coverage for 2017. Your next opportunity to enroll will be effective January 1st, 2018 unless you experience a qualifying event. So again, it's very important that you go into the PlanSource and elect your coverages. If you don't, you will be dropped. You also do have the ability to go in right now and review your coverages that you have right now currently with Xoriant, and then you will have the open enrollment email which will notify you once the open enrollment changes are available, which would be from December 1st to December 15th. So the first plan option you have is the Anthem Classic PPO 500 2020 plan, and this plan has a $500 deductible if you're single, $1,500 if you have a family. You'll see that out of network, the individual is $1,500, the family is $4,500. So we always encourage you to stay in network. If you ask a provider's office, do they take Anthem, they will all tell you yes. The real important question is to make sure that they are in network and that they have a contract with Anthem Blue Cross. Otherwise, you'll find that you'll end up paying a lot more money out of your pocket. The out-of-pocket maximum for an individual in network is $3,500. For family, it's $7,000. If you look out of network, it's extremely higher. So worst case scenario, in network, you have a $100,000 bill. The most that you're going to pay as an individual is $3,500. Once you've hit $3,500 out of your pocket, Anthem Blue Cross will begin to pay for services at 100% for the rest of the year. So again, it does reset in January, and so it will run from January to December 31st. Your office visit copay in network is a $20 copay. Your preventative services in network are covered at 100%. If you were hospitalized, again, so the example, your individual deductible, you're responsible for the first $500. You will then pay 20% of the bill, up to $3,500 if you're single, or $7,000 if you have a family. Same coverage for outpatient surgery as well as diagnostic, lab, and x-ray. So you will see the first cost of that $500 for your lab work or x-ray, and then you pay 20%. Emergency room copay is $150, but it's waived if you're admitted. Mental health and chemical dependency, the new law for that is that it's covered as any illness. So if you are inpatient for mental health or chemical dependency, the hospital coverage applies, as well as the individual office visit is a $20 copay. Prescription drugs in-network is $15 for generic, $30 for brand, $50 for non-formulary drugs. And then, again, you'll see out-of-network, it's the applicable copays plus 50%. The Elements Choice PPO 5900, this plan is actually replacing the Solutions 5000 plan. This plan has an individual deductible of $5,900, and then for family, it's $11,800. But if you look out of network, it's $17,700 for individual or $35,400 for family. The individual out-of-pocket maximum, again, worst case scenario, you have that $100,000 bill. The individual out-of-pocket maximum is $6,500. After that, Anthem Blue Cross pays for services at 100% for the rest of the year. For family, it's $13,000 on this plan. So this is a plan that is a good option for you if somebody who's pretty healthy, doesn't go to the doctor that often. You think about how many times you went to the doctor last year. You get your first 3 visits at a $35 copay. If you end up with more than 3 visits, you will then pay the full deductible cost of the office visit. So an office visit could be $100, could be $300. You would pay the full cost after 3 visits. The initial first 3 visits is a $35 copay. Preventative services in-network is covered at 100%. Hospitalization is 100% covered after the deductible. So if you're hospitalized, you're responsible for that first $5,900, and then the plan will pay 100%. And then same applies for outpatient surgery as well as diagnostic lab and x-ray, emergency room and ambulance services. The copays, so for prescription drugs, for generic, the prices range from $5 to $20 copay. Preferred brand does have a $500 prescription deductible. It maxes at 3 for a family, so you wouldn't pay more than 3 brand name deductibles if you have a large family. So it's $1,500. And then after the deductible, the copay for preferred brand is $50, and then for the non-preferred, it's $65. Again, if you look out of network, those copays apply plus 50% after the deductible. There are also online tools for Anthem members, so we encourage you to go to the Anthem website. If you are an Anthem member, you have access to complete your the My Healthy assessment. You can also get your own personal health summary report. You can receive an action plan to help set personal goals. There's also a 24/7 online support via Live Health Online. They also have a nurse hotline available to you as well. So great resources. You can review your explanation of benefits. You can find providers so to make sure that you're staying in network. And the website to go to if you are a California employee is the anthem.com/CA. For provider search for employees outside of California, you would go to anthem.com and you would access the Blue Card network. The other option available to you is the Kaiser HMO $30 copay, and this one actually changed. Previously it was a $25 copay, it's now a $30 copay. With the cost of healthcare increase, we had worked with your management team to determine that it would just be more reasonable to increase the office visit copay by $5 rather than having a substantial more amount coming out of your paycheck. Because if you think about how many times you've probably gone throughout the year, this made better sense to pay an additional $5 and pay, $100 more out of your paycheck. So this plan has no deductible. Your individual out-of-pocket maximum is $2,000 for individual, $4,000 for a family. Again, this is your worst-case scenario. If you have a major medical bill, $100,000 bill, you're not going to pay more than $2,000. Your office visit copay is $30 copay as well as for specialists. Preventative care is covered at 100%. Hospitalization is a $250 admit copay. Outpatient surgery is a $100 copay. Diagnostic lab and x-ray is a $10 copay. Emergency room does have a $100 copay, but it is waived if you're admitted into the hospital. And then the mental health and chemical dependency, again, is covered as any illness. And then prescription drugs, there is no deductible. Generic is $15 copay, and then preferred brand is a $30 copay. Kaiser also has an online tool system. I mean, they have a great website to help with, you can email your doctor, which will save you time, and money rather than having to take time off work and paying those co-pays. You can email your doctor, you can view lab results, you can schedule appointments, you can do mail order. They also have really great live healthy online tools, wellness coaching and classes, and then they have the online health assessment. You would just go to kp.org. Again, the fact that you can email your doctor to save time and money is just a great way to go. You can also schedule phone appointments. So if you call the advice nurse, you can schedule a phone appointment, and they can set up a time for a doctor to give you a call. And they also now have the ability to do Skype appointments as well. Your Anthem PPO Dental, this is the same carrier, same coverage that you've had previously, will remain January 1st. And so this plan has an annual maximum of $1,500 per person. So each person in your family has a $1,500 benefit that will, it is calendar year, January to December 31st. Your deductible is $50 if you're individual. If you have a family, it's times 3, so you won't pay more than 3 family deductibles. So if you had a family of 5, you're just going to pay the maximum $150 for deductibles. It is waived for preventative, so if you go in and get your screenings, your checkups, it's covered at 100% in network. So this is just, again, it's a PPO, so just as we encourage you on the medical, on the dental, always encourage you to stay in network. If you look, it says 100% out of network, but it's paid based on the reimbursement of what 90% of the dentists in your geographical area will pay. So basically, you end up paying excess charges. So for example, if you go get your cleanings and your x-ray and you've seen a provider that's not contracted, you're going to get a balanced bill. If you're in network, you won't get a balanced bill because they write off the discount. Out of network, they do not write off the discount. So you end up paying more money out of network. Basic services, so if you're going to get fillings, deep gum cleaning, root canals, those are covered at 80%. Out of network, it is 80% plus excess charges. Major services, so those are your crowns, bridges, inlays, are covered at 50%. There is also orthodontia coverage for children only, and it is a 50% coverage up to a maximum of $1,500 for per lifetime. So it's just, that's not calendar year, it's a lifetime benefit. The VSP Vision, you have same carrier, again, no change on this on the vision coverage. The frequency is you get 1 exam every 12 months, lenses, 1 set of lenses every 12 months, and then frames 1 set every 24 months. And then for the examination, it's a $20 copay. But again, it is a PPO, so if you look out of network, they reimburse you up to an allowed amount. So if you go to a provider that is not contracted with VSP, you will pay out of pocket, submit your receipt, and then they'll only reimburse you up to these allowed amounts. So rather than just paying the $20 copay for the exam, you'll only get reimbursed $50 if you go out of network. For prescription glasses, it's a $25 copay in network. For your lenses, they're covered in full in network. For frames, it's a $130 allowance plus 20% off the balance. So for example, if you wanted some frames that cost $200, the VSP would cover $130, and then you would get a 20% discount off the remaining $70. There is also coverage for lens enhancement, so these are just some examples of what the copays would be for progressive lenses. And then also you have the ability to get contact lenses, but it's in lieu of glasses. So for the contact lenses, they also cover $130. So you either get the contact lenses or you get the frames. You can't get both. Okay. You also have voluntary life and AD&D coverage available through Xoriant, and you can purchase life insurance, and this is at your cost, and it's in units of 10,000 up to 500,000 for you. The great part of this coverage is that it is guarantee issue for you as an employee. So it's guarantee issue at 150,000, and what that means is there's no medical questionnaires, no type of test. So even if you have any kind of illness, it will guarantee $150,000 coverage as an employee of Xoriant. There's also coverage for spouses, so units of 5,000 up to 250,000 for your spouse. This is also guarantee issue at 50,000 for your spouse. So again, you know, when it's hard to get life insurance because there's any kind of illness of like diabetes or heart disease or anything like that, this gives guarantee issue coverage for you and your family. You can also purchase coverage for your children. So if you have children, the units are 1,000, 5,000, or 10,000. The amounts greater than those of the guarantee issue are subject to proof of good health. So if you were to purchase coverage over the guarantee issue, you would then have to take some tests, some lab work, and answer medical questionnaires. This coverage is portable, so if you are no longer with Xoriant, you do have the ability to take this coverage with you since it is at your cost. The spouse's coverage cannot exceed 50% of your election. So for example, if you were to purchase coverage for you at 100,000, you could not purchase more than 50,000 for your spouse. You also have voluntary accident insurance. So the coverage for the accident insurance is if you had any off-the-job accidents, it pays fixed benefits for specific injuries, procedures, or death as a result of a covered accident. It includes benefits for hospitalization, fractures and dislocations, emergency room visits, and more. There are no health questions or pre-existing condition limitations. So if you had any kind of, you or your family has any kind of illness, there's no health questions. The benefit pays directly to you to use in any way you choose, in addition to any other coverage you may have. So what this benefit does is, so even if you have medical insurance, this benefit pays directly to you if you were to be in any type of an accident. This coverage is also portable, so if you're no longer with the company, you do have the ability to keep this coverage at your cost. And then there is also a really nice feature to this, is that you get a $50 wellness benefit each year. So if you happen to, you know, get your physical, basically all you have to do is fill out a form, and then Xoriant will send you a check for the $50 benefit. You also have short and long-term disability insurance. So this is coverage that would help cover or replace any loss of income if you were to become disabled from a non-work-related injury or sickness. So you have a short-term disability coverage, and this actually pays 60% of your weekly income up to $1,000 per week. And then the long-term disability provides coverage to replace your income if you are unable to work up to, and this is the monthly income up to $5,000 a month. Also, you have the option to elect the Xoriant Voluntary Critical Illness, and this coverage would help with if you were to have a major medical illness, so like a heart attack, heart failure, stroke, coronary bypass surgery, end-stage kidney disease, occupational HIV, hepatitis, any major organ failure, cancer. So it is also voluntary. So an example I like to use is that I actually had a family member that had a major critical illness, was in ICU for 2 months, and this benefit had paid my family $7,000, which really helps in a time where you know, you might not be able to work because you're trying to care for the loved one, or the fact that you have a loved one that is, you know, and it has a serious illness and you have less income. So it is really a great benefit to help in a situation like that. You also have the flexible spending account. So the flexible spending account is a healthcare FSA, and the FSA allows you to contribute pre-tax dollars to pay for qualified medical expenses. The maximum for 2017 has increased. It's now $2,600. And then you also have the ability to set aside pre-tax dollars to contribute towards a dependent care FSA. And the dependent care FSA, the maximum amount you can contribute each year is $5,000 or $2,500 if you're married and filing separately. So for the flexible spending account, you can elect to contribute an annual minimum of $100, again, to a maximum of $2,600. There is an IRS publication that actually has a list of all the services that you can pay for out of your flexible spending account, and so you can use it to pay for health services. So like if you have co-pays, if you know you're going to have a major medical situation, surgery, or you have a dental work, you're going to pay your deductible, or pharmacy prescription co-pays. You can also use it to pay for your eyeglasses or any healthcare related services that's prescribed by a doctor. You can pay for out of your FSA. It does have a use it or lose it rule, so if you don't use the funds, you do lose it. And if if you terminate from the company and you didn't use the funds, you lose it as well. But you do have the ability to use the funds up front in advance if you had any major situation as well. The dependent care also is a minimum of $100 to a maximum of $5,000. Parking transit is a maximum monthly of $255, and that allows you to set aside pre-tax dollars to help pay for parking or for van pool, BART, any type of transportation services you can use to pay out of your pre-tax dollars. There is a maximum rollover, so if you elect the FSA and you wanted to just contribute $500 for the year, just to have as an option to be able to have set aside pre-tax dollars in case you do have any medical services that arise, you do have the $500 that does not apply to the use it or lose it rule, so that will get carried over to the next year. So you can contribute just the $500 if you choose. So again, the eligible expenses must be incurred from January to December 31st. Claims may be submitted for reimbursement until March 31st, 2018. And then so an example of the FSA, so here's an example of weekly earnings. So if you look at a weekly earnings of $400 with no FSA contribution, the taxable wages are $400. And then if you're paying for eligible healthcare expenses out of pocket, you're paying after taxes. And then you'll see your net take-home pay. With the FSA, and if you have an FSA contribution, so the example here is $110, the taxable wages are $290, and then you get your take-home pay increases, and then you get to use your FSA to help pay for those healthcare expenses before taxes out of your paycheck. So real importantly, just want to make sure that, again, as a reminder, all employees must elect coverage in PlanSource or they will be dropped from coverage for 2017 and will not be able to enroll until open enrollment next year, effective January 1st, 2018, unless you experience a qualifying event. So just a reminder, you will get an email for you to log into PlanSource. You do have the ability to log into PlanSource now and review your current coverage now. But again, you will get a notification in regards to open enrollment, and at that point you can go in and elect your coverages for January 1st, 2017. I also like to share with you our contact information. So we did provide a benefits booklet. We also have some wallet cards, but we wanted you to be aware of who we are and how we're able to support you. We are your new broker this year. We have an 800 number. Our service email address is the mybenefits@nsur.com, but you also have direct contact. Christina Calvetti is the account manager. Lisa Fan is the customer service associate, and we are available to help with any questions about your coverage throughout the year. If you need help finding an in-network contractor provider, if you get bills from your provider, you get bills from your providers and you don't know why the insurance company didn't pay them, we're here to help. Rather than you calling those 800 numbers and getting put on hold, we have direct contact and we usually can get those issues resolved pretty quickly. So we encourage you to contact us. We look forward to hearing from you. And that concludes our session. We will open it up for questions. Thank you for your time.